what's up guys? So I wanted to make this video because I have a drift event coming up this weekend. So I figured I might as well make a video to relay some tips to you guys so that you'll be better prepared to attend your first drift event. Looking back, I had no idea what to expect when I attended my first drift event. All I knew was that I was extremely nervous. So hopefully these tips will make your first event a lot less nerve-wracking. So first off, make sure you have all the right tools. At the absolute minimum, you will need a jack stands, a 4-way, and toolbox with some essential tools that you can work on your car while at the event if need be. Tip number 2, bring extra wheels. Well, duh. But what I really want to mention about bringing extra wheels is the tires that you're putting on them. You know, there are tons of used tires on Craigslist and at used tire shops, but there's one little caveat that I have with drifting on used tires. In my opinion, it's not really worth it to spend $40 on a tire with 50% tread when you can buy a new one for $60 that's guaranteed to last longer. You know, I know everyone says, oh, just get used tires, and you know, if it's your first event, just get whatever tires you can and throw them on the rear. But if you're gonna go to multiple events, you might as well just start buying new tires. Tip number 3, make sure you have the right equipment. So most tracks have certain rules and standards that they want you to comply with. For instance, most tracks want you to have a helmet. Now it can't just be any ordinary helmet. It has to be one that's Snell approved. So you can't bring a motorcycle helmet to an event and expect to drive or get a ride along or anything like that. If you see here how it says SA 2010, that means that this helmet is good for 10 years. So I have until 2020 to use this helmet on approved tracks. It might be for insurance purposes, I don't know. It means if you find a really good deal on a helmet that has an SA 2005 rating, that means it's already expired, so I'm not sure if the track would allow you to go out. Then again, it does depend on the track that you're driving at. Different tracks have different regulations, so do your research. And also, your car has to be up to standards as well. Most tracks want you to have a cap covering your positive battery terminal. And I know my local track wants you to run an oil catch can. So just be sure to do your research and look into what your track wants you to have. Alright, now this is probably the best tip in my mind. Days, weeks, months before your first event, you need to watch the Drift Bible. Drift Bible is basically a movie about how to drift. The main star of that movie is Kiichi Tsuchiya, aka the Drift King. He goes over basically all of the techniques on how to drift. And the cool part is you can watch the whole movie on YouTube. I'll put the link down in the description, so make sure to check that out. It's also a great idea to search and see if there's any footage of a driver with a similar car to yours that's drifting around the same track. You know, the purpose of watching other people's videos is to see their techniques and to see how they go around the track. My first ever event that I attended was at the Green Cove Dragway. There was someone local to me that I had seen around town and I knew that he drifted his FRS. So I went on YouTube and I actually found a video of him ripping it around Green Cove. So shout out to Bobby Dill. If it wasn't for his videos, I wouldn't have had the confidence to go out on the track and do 70-mile-an-hour entries. For my first event at the Orlando Speed World, I also referenced footage from my buddy Ryan Quinn. He has an awesome FRS that he's actually LS swapping. I'll link you to his build thread down in the description, as well as to his YouTube channel. He has tons of great footage. Along those lines, a notable investment that you could make is in a gaming steering wheel, like a Logitech G27 or something along those lines. I actually had one and I used it to play this game called Assetto Corsa, which has really good physics in terms of drifting. Assetto Corsa is pretty fun. Alright, so for the next tip, make sure all of your fluids are topped off. So that means check your oil level, your coolant level, and your blinker fluid. Make sure you have enough blinker fluid. But in all seriousness, make sure that your oil levels and all that are all up to par. Just play it safe. But for the next tip is when you're at the event, ask around for tips and advice from fellow drifters. You know, if you feel like you're struggling keeping the car sideways, I'm sure there is someone that has a couple pointers that they could give you. Heck, for my first event, someone rode in my car while I was drifting and gave me a couple pointers, which really helped. So for the next tip, it might not be needed, but I feel like it would be a worthwhile investment. But it would be to get a GoPro or a similar action camera. You'll be able to see, you know, what you need to clean up on, and maybe that you need to initiate a little earlier or a little later. Clutch kick now as opposed to then. But it just overall will really let you hone in on the mistakes that you're making and ultimately lead to you becoming a better driver. And for the last tip, it's just to relax. Go out there and have fun. Isn't that why we're drifting in the first place? God, I love this. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you could do me a favor and like this video, it would really help me out. Comment down below if you have any tips that maybe I even missed. I have one of my really good friends, Josh, coming over from Daytona with his quadcopter. He's gonna be getting tons of aerial footage of this event, and I am so stoked for it. It's gonna be so cool. All right, so that's all for now. So I will see you guys later. Peace.